evening, Danvers, and thank you for joining us here at the Human Rights and Inclusion meeting. My name is Johan Hunter. Today is Thursday, March 19th. We're convening our meeting. Welcome, and thank you for joining us. I will now turn to Jorge Sanchez Salazar for the Native Land Acknowledgement.
Keeping with our values of equity and inclusion and to support those who experience marginalization, this evening's meeting will begin with Native American Land Acknowledgement. We acknowledge that this meeting is taking place on the ancestral homelands of the Namkeg and Agawam people. Historical evidence shows that the Namkeg and Agawam were peaceful in their relationship with European settlers. However, their populations depleted rapidly due to smallpox and other pandemic old world diseases allegedly unknowingly introduced by early European colonizers to the East Coast. To honor the Namkeg and Agawam communities, along with other indigenous peoples who inhabited these lands known as Danvers, Massachusetts, and who may be lost to history, let us take a moment to recognize the past, present, and future of indigenous peoples and reflect on our roles within settler colonialism. We acknowledge these ancestral grounds we have collectively gathered upon and support the resilience and strength of indigenous people who indigenous people have shown worldwide.
Thank you. Next, we will move to the approval of the meeting minutes. I believe we had meeting minutes from February and January to approve. For those of you who would have received the minutes in your email, please advise if you have any suggestions on changes or updates before we vote. Hearing none, for all of those in favor of approving the minutes as received, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Please, the minutes are approved. Now we will open our citizens' queries. If there's anyone here who would like to speak, you're welcome to come to the microphone in an orderly fashion and share anything that you have to share with us. Yeah, absolutely. Take your time.
Bill Bradstreet, Town Meeting Member, Precinct 1. I know I'm late, but normally at the beginning of the meeting you read an acknowledgement to the Native Americans we took their land. There was an article in the paper that, I don't know if it's Salem, well, I call it Salem State Teachers call it, but Salem University, that they were offering a meeting, I think on 2 different nights, to try to get the teachers to include information, history about the Native Americans, which a lot of things seem to be forgotten. I don't know if you were aware of that or saw it in the paper, if that's something that maybe you could send them a letter or find out if it would be a benefit to this board or the general public, as a, so to speak, of reminding what we did and are still doing. And I had mentioned, I don't know, to this board or to the select board about the some kind of acknowledgement about whose land this is, stone, sign, whatever, put in place, spot, location where it's clearly visible to those people who care or to anybody who comes to Danvers. We are a nice town, a city, a town, and it'd be nice if we let people know how we care about what happened in the past and how we're trying to reflect and maybe improve the feelings that some people might have about Danvers. That's it.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's funny because I do recall Dave McKenna, when he was on the committee, had something in the works with the Historical Commission, something about a stone. I don't know the details of it, but we are kind of out of the loop with it, I'm sure. Do you know anything? Do you recall anything, Paul?
I recall it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Dave was involved with pursuing the group that, I'm not sure what the group was, Native American group, but we didn't get any positive response over a period of months.
Okay.
So it's sort of been put on the back burner. That doesn't mean we can't bring it forward again and try, but Dave would have had the connection, and he wasn't able to follow up with it with anyone. And it just did, like I said, went to the back burner. But it's something we should pursue.
Yeah, there was some conversation about us pursuing some sort of plaque.
Right.
So maybe we can follow up on that, Bill. I appreciate you bringing that to the
I think
forefront.
we were talking about over near the,
Library?
no, well, for some reason I want to say Port. Down where we cross
Oh.
the bridge that goes over, and there's a big condo development, and there's the home for the deaf. For some reason, that location sits in my mind, and I don't know exactly what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Bill. Oh, can you come to the microphone, please?
It's me again. I think part to do is that when they did their exploring, digging, they were finding artifacts from a period of time and when the Indians were around living comfortably, so to speak, to take care of their own people before they were invaded, but they found artifacts down there. I don't know if there are any.
The artifacts down where I just mentioned, down.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
that's what I think triggered the whole thing.
Whether that has any bearing on it.
Just a matter of who we could contact that we can get a response from.
I'm not trying to talk out of turn, but I believe I heard that when Dave was talking to somebody about this, they weren't, I don't want to say enthused, but he was having some, not pushback, but not enough interest in what we wanted to do to acknowledge their existence here before we came along.
We can start it up again and see where we go.
Sounds good?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think if I recall correctly, I may be mistaken because I don't have all my notes. It was going to be a bench. I don't know. That's off the top of my head. I recall him saying something about a bench.
Was it related to the bench? No.
No.
Okay.
There was a bench, but unrelated to that, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I thought it was more like a plaque on a,
Yeah, yeah.
on a big stone.
Historic marker.
Yeah, historic
mentioned.
marker.
Yes.
yeah.
We'll follow up. Thank you, Bill. Before we go too far into the meeting, I want to acknowledge the beautiful art. For those who were not at MLK or Black Excellence, we have a local artist. Her last name escapes me. I believe her name is Erin?
Emma.
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 And she is amazing. She's just like, what do you need? Oh, I'm going to do this, add this person in one day. Like, just fantastic. So for those of you who are art collectors, or for those of you who like to have something on every wall like I do, if you would like to support a local artist, speak with someone from the committee. We'd be happy to share the information with you. It's so nice to see talent, and also talent that's homegrown. I think if we could do something to support it, or if you are watching and you're a local business and you would like to display some of this, please reach out to us, because anything we can do to spread the word about her beautiful art, we'd love to do. Yep. Okay, so moving right along, we have next our liaison updates. We can start with Lieutenant Sullivan, if you have anything for us.
I do. I'd like to start first with acknowledging, I don't know people, I'm not a social media person, but if you saw Chief Level's post on our department's website, acknowledging that this has been a challenging few weeks for our community, also our police department. In more than one ways, we responded about a week ago to a resident who was in crisis, who had shot a firearm at his family member's car, which resulted in a large police response and in the death of that resident by suicide. We mourn the loss of a former Danvers resident who had moved to Rhode Island and had just become a police officer in Rhode Island. Her department came up to meet and mourn with her family here in Danvers last week. And then also the tragic and senseless random murder of a Danvers resident. In the chief's post, he expressed how that affects our officers, families. We're part of the community. And one of the things that we have done is increase our efforts to be present at events like this, events throughout the town, sporting events, just walking around downtown, in the parks and around the schools. So people are always invited. If you see us walking around, please feel free to come up and talk to us. We're happy to engage, and it's one of the ways we can try and make people feel more safe and more comfortable in their town, but also with the police department who responds to these calls to help our community members. I also wanted to mention an event, an incident that occurred earlier this month. Our officers responded to the parking lot of a local business after a vehicle owner had found anti-Semitic, homophobic, and racist words and symbols. I'm not sure the right way to say it because it wasn't written on or sprayed. So in the wintertime around here when you have snow and ice, you know that the debris that gets on your car before you go to the car wash. So with fingers, somebody wrote these words and symbols on this individual's car. Our officers investigated and were able to find video of the incident occurring. As it turns out, watching the video, it's even more disheartening than the incident occurring itself because it turned out to be a father with his 10-year-old child who was doing this. So to watch the act of, we always say that this is certainly learned behavior, to watch the act of learned behavior happen right there before your eyes, and be left with a sense of this is clearly not going to be a conversation at this gentleman's home of why this is wrong. So it was very sad to see. This particular individual played this off as a joke and alleges that the person that had this happen to their vehicle was just thin-skinned and should toughen up a little bit. So the individual offender is going to be summoned to court for a criminal offense by our department, and it will play out in the courts as it happens. But I think, for me at least, more concerning was to watch a 10-year-old child learn this. So that was pretty sad to see. I think everything else I have is for a different agenda item.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Selectman, do you have anything
Can I just
for us?
ask a question? Can I just ask a
Oh, go
question?
ahead, yes, absolutely.
Lieutenant Sullivan, was this a random act, or was this person targeted for something? Was
The two individuals involved do not know each other.
they do not know?
It was random.
Thank you.
Yeah, tough act to follow. We mourn with the people that we lost. You're right, it was a really tough couple of weeks. Before I give updates from the selectmen on the select board, regarding the plaque, Bill, I think my recollection was that he came to the select board with this idea, and the HRIC was supposed to work with the Historical Society and contact, I think it's the Massachusetts Native American group, Anthony Silver, I think was the name. I think they've moved out of Danvers things. They used to be located in Danvers. They are not. So that Anthony Silver will be a good contact. So the select board was waiting for this committee and the Historical Society to bring some suggestions as to what is it that can be done and where that can be placed. So that's my recollection of it. From the select board, we're working on the budget. We did get the budget. We had a budget hearing already, and we're waiting for the warrants to come up in the next couple of weeks, being April 1st. And we'll be having a open meeting and debate about the warrant on April 7th, right here, and April 9th, if we need to continue. There's going to be a lot of things to discuss. You probably heard the town manager have expressed the fact that we are over $2 million under. So it's going to be a really challenging fiscal year. But as far as this committee is concerned, it's my understanding that the line item that is allocated to this committee is still there. There's going to be some restructuring. As you know, there's going to be some restructuring within town management. We'll find out when we get the actual warrants exactly all the details and how that's going to work out. But this committee still has the full commitment of the select board and the town manager to make sure that we support the committee and we support the residents that you all serve. As we go through these budget issues, I think it's important that the voice of this committee continues to be front and center, and that we start to think outside of the box in many ways that we can continue to work. Let's be creative. I know we had grant applications, and so whichever way we can continue this work, I'm sure the select board will be open to getting those suggestions. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, we're gonna move on to our MLK. It seems so long ago now. Our MLK report on the closeout from our lovely event.
Yes. The 27th Annual Danvers celebration of Martin Luther King, now known for the third year as Move Like King. And given the continuing state of our nation and our state and our community, it seems that moving like King is as necessary now as it ever has been. And I just wanted to begin with this lovely article that was in the Salem News, and I'm just looking at the front because we were on the back of the sports section, and I'm sure we got a coach here at the end of the table. I mean, there's all sorts of I'm sure metaphors or stories we could say about why we were in the sports section, but we were there, and maybe that's why they gave us the headline "Forces for Change." And it's not the only reason, because that event and those that were there and those that made it happen. Truly forces for change, and really representing and speaking to all that is moving in a new direction in this community, and inclusively and powerfully. So a huge thanks to the committee, and we had new committee members joining us this year, which was fantastic. And incredible, again, partnership from the school with the new assistant superintendent, Kristen Anderson, and leading the team. And she stepped in, and that was just flawless. And everybody at within DPS and at the high school is like, what can I do? Like totally going the extra mile. So really tremendous experience. One of the things that was really sort of began to set this year apart is that we didn't just have one new feature, not two new features, we had 3 new features. So one is, as Johan pointed out, the art that's in front of us, and the artist Emma, known on her handle on Instagram is M. Shari. And so this MLK piece, not only does she do beautiful art, but she often takes initiative in this community. Like thanks to Amy Velasquez, I learned, oh, well, Emma's doing a piece. She had not been asked to do this piece. Taking initiative in this community is what makes this community move. And so Emma, in her own way, is a force for change. So just to name that. But this piece in particular that she did for that event has garnered some real interest. And I would just like to say that it is indeed for sale. And so we can we can sort of engage with those who might be interested in purchasing this particular piece or any of the pieces, as Johan mentioned. We also had another piece of art which the community created, and that is the Endicott pear tree, which is down here. Now, as Amy Velasquez, a member of the committee, and I were talking, she thought about this tree, and we thought about the tree and decided to go with the tree because we really believe the work of this committee is both honoring and rooted in the past. As Mr. Bradstreet has brought up, would like to be committed to thinking about how we can honor our Indigenous ancestors. And at the same time, while we can be rooted in the history, this town will only continue to thrive if we are reaching up and out in colorful, life-giving ways. And so the community members were invited to color in on the leaves. So this is another piece of art that was created by the community. And so we are in search of, I say to the community, we are in search of a public spot that this Endicott pear tree created by the community could be hanging. I personally think that would be really fantastic right up here. So those of you listening from Town Hall, consider that. But that's also another piece of art that was there. A second new piece that was announced on that day were the grants, the HRIC grants that were administered by Dr. Charlie Desmond and Dr. Sarah Goodale O'Brien, and they're the ones pictured in the article. And so we have 7 grantee organizations? Eight. Thank you. 8 grantee organizations who were awarded in this first year. And they had a rigorous selection process, thrilled with the number of applicants they got. And so we're hoping to invite some of those grantees, invite all the grantees in the coming months to be able to come here and to share what they're doing in the community. So our third piece was an essay contest for our middle school students and our high school students. And I'm now going to turn it over to my colleague and friend, Luis Velasquez, who was part of running that.
Well, thank you very much. Yes, Move Like King. As Karen says, the third year of the event, skaters that more to move our king. And basically, how do you go about your every day doing things like King, right? I mean, what are you going to do? Walk to Selma in Alabama and go things, and talk about civil rights? Probably not. But what you can do is make the right decision, to ensure that everyone's civil rights are always protected. That you definitely can do every day, all day. So we wanted to ask that question to our younger Danvers residents, for them to share their views on how Dr. King would act, react, or adapt to the current environment. For example, what would Dr. King say about AI? How would he use social media, etc.? So we collaborated with the school district, as always. They're there to lend a hand. And we launched the Move Like King essay contest for middle school and high school students. Pierre DeMoro, our curriculum director, was essential, instrumental in the deployment of the essay contest. And everybody at the ELA departments of the high school and the middle school were offered some such invaluable support. Madam Chair, the response was phenomenal. The submissions offer a glimpse of how the younger generations in our town might navigate, the pitfalls and rewards of a society that's ever-changing, while finding their place in the community. For example, Ossie Conniff, they wrote the winning essay for the middle school. And they said, in order for successful change and turning awareness into action, we need to come together, we need to speak out, and we need to support each other through any challenge. Right now, I feel like Danvers sometimes lacks that, and I really believe that should change. I think we can try to mimic what Dr. King did, but in our own words. We might just be able to better this town. Again, a 7th grader from our own Halton Regional Middle School wrote that, and she wrote the winning essay. Now, the winning high school essay offered a different view, offered a powerful reflection on what leadership looks like in 2026. Now, the writer described how young people today expand the definition of leadership by using digital platforms, data, cultural influence, and global networks in ways Dr. King would never imagine. They show how creators, coders, artists, athletes, and activists can mobilize communities, expose injustice, build new institutions, and collaborate across identities. Their work highlighted how today's youth blended Dr. King's moral clarity with modern tools to build movements that are faster, broader, and more inclusive. If you don't mind, Madam Chair, I'm going to read a quote from that essay. Movements today are more intentionally intersectional. Queer, disability, immigrant, and global perspectives are frequently centered from inception, widening strategic thinking and ethical commitments. Olivia St. Pierre wrote that as senior in a high school. So again, sorry. So once again, the winners of the essay contest were Ozzy Conniff from Walden Richmond Middle School and Olivia St. Pierre from Danvers High. Alas, Olivia wasn't able to attend the event, and she had to work tonight, so she couldn't make it here tonight. Nonetheless, once again, Peter DeMora is here on behalf of the district to accept Olivia's award. So if you don't mind, Peter, come back this way. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was beautiful. I love to hear what the youth have to say, and I also wonder what Dr. Martin Luther King would have to say about AI. I need to read that one. Okay, so moving right along, we have an educational committee update. It's on there twice, so I don't know, Paul, if you want to start, and then Dr. Charlie, if you have anything to add after.
I'm sure Dr. Charline will share both those items.
Sure.
I'll just lead off a little bit by saying that, first of all, I welcome Mr. DeMauro here because I've seen him 3 or 4 times already at school committee meetings, and they, over the period of, I guess, January, February, and even into March, they had, curriculum was talked about. I mean, I could go on, and I won't because I won't remember anything. But budget items, at one point, there was a request for 5 assistant principals, 1 in each elementary school. I think they've put that aside, although I think it's a very, very interesting and important budget item that should be pursued. That's personally me. But money is tight, and if you look at their budget, I think they're about 80% of their budget. If I may be wrong on that one, Mr. DeMauro, but it's salaries, just salaries. So it always is that way. It's nothing new. And then a couple of things hit me, though. One was the popularity of the school choice program that Danvers has gotten into just 1 year in now, and they're going into 2 years. It was very successful. I think the seats that they had, they didn't fill all the seats because they got started late in the whole process. And so I'm not sure how many seats they had for this present coming year, but they probably filled at least half of them in a short period of time. To the extent that they're expanding the number of seats that will be available. Now, this program does not put anyone from Danvers out of a seat. So there's not a shortage. No one's going to be shortchanged. I guess that's what I want to say. But it's a program where, and I'm going to say it as I would say it, Peter, parents pay to have their children come to school. So they pay the town, or they pay the school department. School choice, right? Also, if they have other needs that have to be met, for instance, transportation, it's the parent's responsibility. Is that correct? Or
The sending district.
Pardon me?
The sending district.
Sending district pays for an X amount of money for tuition. We're not responsible for the transportation. The sending district is, and I would believe that also applies to children with needs too. Is that correct?
Any student, coming
Yeah.
from another.
Okay, so we're a little late getting into this game. It's been around. It's nothing new, but we're there finally, and it's very popular. And the last thing I'm going to mention, I had about 6 items, but I thought was great was the new, well, there's 2 things. Danvers High School just got into the AP Hall of Fame for the state. And so we got that, there's a big banner that they're displaying in the atrium. And also, they're starting a new AP program on African-American studies. And, geez, I'd like to lead the parade downtown on that one. I think just absolutely great. So we need this, and I think it's a tribute to the superintendent, it's a tribute to the principal, and all the administrators, and Mr. DeMauro, the students and the faculty. Because I know that when I've gone to some of these events that are held at the school, the children, the students, are really very much involved. They really, get after it, and they keep us, on our toes when we're there. If you haven't seen this, come on over and look at that. And they show you around the building. They're really very nice. So I think those were some of the highlights. Do we have work to do? Yes. I'll stop right there.
No, please keep going.
No, I'm not. Go ahead, Dr. Charles, go ahead.
No, I think I concur with everything that was said by my colleague. I think that it's an underestimated and underspoken reality that the Danvers Public Schools are doing a lot of very excellent work academically, and I think we need to recognize that that work is benefiting our young people in Danvers who are going to be better equipped for the world of work, higher education, service in government, community-based work. All of the opportunities that are available to them will be expanded, and their opportunity to participate fully in them will be as a direct result of the investments that we're making in our public schools that ultimately are beneficial to the students that attend. I was just last week in a meeting in New York City. I'm a trustee at Teachers College at Columbia, which is the second-ranked college of education in the nation. And the discussion was about what's happening in our schools today and what the pressures students are dealing with, what the pressures faculty are dealing with, what the pressures that are happening inside our schools. And it's a tribute to Danvers that we're working hard on these issues and that we're paying attention to concerns that get raised, as well as the benefits, the assets that rise up as a result of the community commitment to education in Danvers. It is the most expensive investment that we make in Danvers, is our public schools, and that's for good reason. As a matter of fact, you didn't mention, but I thought it was great, the chair of the school committee read from the Massachusetts State Constitution, which is really unique in the nation, actually, because our Constitution specifically speaks to the importance of education and why it needs to be invested in by the people of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So the fact that that was stated about Danvers and the fact that we are leading in so many areas I thought was commendable. And
That was Mr. Shannon, wasn't it?
yeah, he did a fantastic job, quite frankly. He literally had everyone in the room absolutely spellbound, reading directly from these founding documents of the leaders who established and built the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and why they felt it was critical that the education system, like an educated citizenry, is so critical and essential to the benefits of the Commonwealth. As a matter of fact, we don't have gold mines, we don't have oil wells, we don't have coal, and we don't have all of the natural resources that other states in the nation have that allow them to be prosperous and successful. However, the Commonwealth does lead the nation in education. And I think people need to recognize that we are the leaders of the 50 states in our education system, and it's because, like people in Danvers, who take seriously the investments that we make in our education system, in our teachers and in our schools, and in our students, ultimately, the next generation, we're passing the torch to them, hopefully, that will enable them to continue to lead in Massachusetts, the nation. And so the meeting was absolutely wonderful, and I'm glad there was a unanimous vote by the select board to support the budget as it was proposed. So to our select board members, a very distinguished D, asked some very good questions, some critical questions, but they were all aimed at making sure that we sustain the good work that we're doing. So that's my comments on it.
I thought his comment, the school committee chair's comments, they got to me, quite frankly, somewhat emotionally, because, and I'm gonna, being an old guy, I'm gonna talk about a little, I come from a family of 17 aunts and uncles, all right? You raised your eyebrows, Joanne. That's a lot of- My father was one of 7, my mother was one of 11, excuse me, 11. And I was the first one to get a chance to go to school, college. And I don't think I ever appreciated it as much as I do now, quite frankly, but it wasn't there years ago. It really just wasn't there way, way back. And I know my father, who if he ever had an opportunity, he would have done very, very well. So it's just, when you see this happen, and you see it in the state, the Commonwealth, okay? It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing what I believe that inside 128, there's probably more colleges and universities than in any state. Maybe the University of California might be different, but other than that, think about it. We have a tremendous opportunity, and then all the medical schools, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, I'm done. That was it. And I do want to say one thing. The event, due to Karen and her group, that was fabulous. It was, they changed things up a little bit, they moved it. I thought it was great, just great. Okay. And I think that's the basic report, right?
Absolutely.
That's it. We're done. Okay.
Thank you. And I do agree that the seating in the MLK was, I liked it.
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
more, it felt more, I don't know, open. I liked it. So moving right along, our next item is the Pride update. Lieutenant Sullivan, if you want to take that.
Our Pride Subcommittee, we've only had one meeting so far, but we made some excellent progress. This year, our committee is Paul, Gabrielle Montevecchi, and librarians Amy Martin and Chelsea Shepard. We have secured our dates for June. So the police department's Pride flag raising will be on Thursday, June 4th at 5 p.m. And the town's event will be Saturday, June 13th, 12 o'clock at Town Hall for flag raising, and 1 to 3 for the Pride Party on the library lawn. The rain location is still to be determined. And we have already secured the great food vendor we had last year, Butter Your Biscuit, will be back again this year. And we also have the amazing DJ that we had last year. We'll be reaching out to all of the wonderful vendors and tablers that came to invite them back, as well as organizations that provide resources to the community. So we'll be having a meeting in about another week, and plan to put some more items together to report back to everyone for next month. I also wanted to pass along, they're not our events, but there are 2 upcoming Transgender Day of Visibility events. Danvers High School Prism will be on Tuesday, March 31st at 6 p.m. at the North Shore UUs. And the North Shore LGBTQ Plus Network will be Saturday, March 28th from 1 until 5 p.m. at 401 Bridge Street in Salem.
What was the Salem date and time?
Salem is March 28th from 1 till 5.
Okay. And what was the time at the UU Church?
6 p.m.
6.
Tuesday, March 31st, 6 p.m.
Thank you very much.
And is there an upcoming meeting for the Pride Committee that you'd want to share out for anybody else that
There
wants to?
is. We are. Our next planning meeting is Tuesday, the 24th. That'll be at the police station training room at 4:30.
Okay, thank you. Great, thank you. So, I will be giving the Black Excellence update. I think, actually, almost everybody that I'm looking at was at our Black Excellence event, which took place at the Maple Street Church, and it was a film festival. We got to watch 2 films for the younger population. There was Aquila and the Bee, and for everyone else, or even if you wanted to stay in the other room, my daughter eventually came back to the adult room. We watched Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, which was interesting for me because my parents always watch these movies and I never watched them from beginning to end. And I was kind of giggling. Like, I've never watched the entire movie from beginning to end. And a couple people told me the same thing. Like, oh, I never saw this part. It's like, yeah, well, if you're kind of in the room but you're not really watching it, you miss certain things. But when you watch it from beginning to end, it was interesting how many themes were still prevalent today, given how long ago the movie took place. And everybody was kind of shocked about that we still kind of have some of those issues or themes or concerns even today. But it was so skillfully done in that time to make light of what differences, what are we talking about here? This is a great guy. And I thought that was, it was a beautifully done movie, and it was a great point to make. So it was a lovely night. We had amazing food from another southern restaurant, and I think for most people they enjoyed the event. So we thank again Maple Street Church for hosting us and always being so gracious, and for their community and their parishioners who tend to come out in droves to the events and pick up plates and help clean up and do all that stuff too. So we appreciate that. So thank you. Our next item that we have is as it pertains to having a high school student liaison. So it came up in our last meeting that we do have a number of high school students that come to our meeting, and we want to encourage that participation and always have a place for members of United or any other groups to speak, whether you're on the agenda or not. We want to hear what's going on. It seemed that we had a lot of agreement on that. So what I'm proposing is that we would have a Danvers High School Student Liaison just plaque, and anybody who's here would be welcome to sit there and say whatever updates that they would like to give us when they are here. So if everyone feels that that is something that we could do, would someone be so kind as to give us a motion?
Couple questions.
Absolutely.
Isaiah, how do you see this working through at the high school?
Similar to the select board representative, if I recall correctly about the select board, school committee, they are picked by the principal at the beginning of the year, and then from there on out they don't have to go to the meetings, but they're welcome to, and when they are at the meetings they can do liaison updates like the rest of our liaisons.
So we would get someone from the principal selection.
I don't really care how they're
Just accept
selected.
it, right? I mean, that would be it, if we
Yeah.
try to have them.
I would be fine. We've had a contingency of mostly United Group members attending, and so the thought was, well, if that group continues to be present, we're happy to have them
Sure.
sit and give their update. So I don't necessarily think it needs to be selected by the principal per se, but if they're here, I would love for them to be able to give their update, to keep us in the loop. That'd be great, yeah.
I think so. I think we should have that. Yep.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
You wanna make the motion?
Sure, our motion, we have a representative as a liaison from the Danvers High School, attend meetings here as much as possible to report back.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so moved. It looks like that is a go. Thank you. Next on our agenda, we have
Madam Chair,
Sorry?
if I may.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry. While we are still talking about the school and the liaison, if you recall, a couple meetings ago, the groups from United had invited some of us.
Yes.
I don't know if you had that on your agenda or not.
No, but I'm happy to talk about it, yeah.
But they had invited some of us to come speak at the high school. And there were some scheduling difficulties, but the chairwoman and myself spoke the first time, and the second time I was there with member Jorge. And they had some questions for us. They did not give us the questions ahead of time. But I was truly honored, inspired, and just amazed by what these students are doing in our schools. You know, sometimes students will say things and you'll be like, they are being coached. This was nothing like that. This was from the student, by the student, for the students. And the audience, it was for the whole school. We did it twice. The first time was the freshman and the junior, and the second time was the sophomore and the seniors. They were all attentive. The questions were really impressive. And I think this speaks volume. And I told the principal on my way out, this young group united, I think they're only a few months old, but the level of discussion and conversation they've generated, not only within this group, but at the administration level and the school committee level and within the community, is really amazing. And I think we should really continue to encourage them, welcome them. I went to Stop and Shop last night to get I love avocado, so I went to get my avocado, and the kid at the register said to me, "Are you the man who spoke at our school the other day?" I said, "Where do you go?" He's like, "Danvers High, I'm a senior." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, thank you so much." I think a lot of people like it. Now, coming from a youngster, it meant a lot to me. But it also speaks to the fact that these kids are doing some very important work. Because it's very easy to get lost into the big issues. But these small steps, these small actions are what are ultimately going to make a difference. So just wanted to share that, and I don't know if you have anything to add, Madam Chair and Jorge, but I think it was a really good thing. And I think this is the first time that the school had done something like this during Black History Month. So, thank you.
Yeah, I will say, and I'll have Jorge speak too, I will say that I thought it was a great idea, and the reason why, even myself, when I was in high school, I switched high schools from a less diverse high school to a more diverse high school. And it makes a difference. They call it windows and mirrors in education. It makes a difference when you're hearing from real person and the real experiences. It's one thing to read it in a book, and it's another thing to actually talk with, the person that's going through it. And that's why I thought it was really insightful that the students invited us, and impressive, and for you to be in the community and someone to stop you and say thank you. I think it speaks milestones to. It's just validating, right? That it's moving to people to see you and hear from you in the flesh. So that's awesome. Jorge, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I'd just like to say for the record, I did not answer any questions. I was sitting on the side. They asked me if I wanted to talk, and I said, no, D is much more eloquent. And he was, and it actually went very quickly. I felt like, I feel like you could have talked. There could have been many more questions. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was a great morning.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
Thank you. And we do have a United member here. Did you want to say anything about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say to Dee and Johan, thank you so much for coming and doing that, because that was really impressive to see that we could get that done. And I think it was really powerful for the student body to be able to really hear and see genuine thoughts on what you thought of all of the questions we asked. I don't remember off the top of my head because it's been a bit. But I think the saddest part is that we only had 20 minutes to answer all those questions. So I think if we would have had more time, it would have been so much better. But yeah, I just really wanted to thank you for coming here and doing that.
Anytime. And I mean, honestly, if it's something that people like, it might be something to incorporate even to our MLK event. I mean, if people want to hear like real stories about things that happen. I remember some of the questions, like they wanted to know who were our favorite people in Black history and why and that sort of thing. And that's kind of my favorite thing to talk about. So I was just like, I was not coached or rehearsed, but I do have an answer for that. But yeah, no, it was nice, you know, to hear what people from a different generation wanted to know about us. So thank you again.
Oh, another thing I wanted to add was I think if we could possibly do this again next year, if we could do it with more of the members, not just for Black History Month, just to like kind of show the student body more of, hey, this is what these people think, and they have really good opinions and they're really well worded with, like, Dee, all of your answers were amazing. And I know you rambled on a little bit, but it was really interesting to hear what you had to say, I have to say.
Thank you. We'll be back. I love it.
That was great.
I lost my thought for a second. Okay, so Jorge, you had a Women's History Month update. We'd love to hear what you have to say.
Okay. So you may or may not know that March is Women's History Month. So this all started, so I had this genesis of an idea back in the summer. I was at the Beverly Library and I was sitting there, just sitting there by the window, and there was this rack of magazines, and I'm like a sucker for a magazine, for like a real magazine, for like a newspaper. So I saw this bright yellow magazine caught my eye. It was Ms. Magazine, and I went over, I picked it up, just, you know, serendipitously, picked it up, started flipping through it, and the issue was about violence against women, right? And it is, it cannot be a controversial thing when I say that most overwhelming amount of violence against women is perpetrated by men. This is been studied. We've got 10,000 years of human experience, lived experience telling us all this. And I was flipping through, and there was this article from a man writing about exactly that because the overwhelming number of perpetrators are male, that men should be involved in stemming this violence, that it is not just women's responsibility. So with that in mind, I brought that up to Johan and Karen a while ago, thinking that maybe in March something would happen, but then I didn't know where to start to get into this. So I just kind of let it sit and not do anything about it and hope that no one would bother me. But Johan bothered me. So that was in February. So she said, well, why don't you get together with the library and see if we can do something together, partner with the library. So I contacted Noel Bach at the library, and we sat down and we just started throwing out ideas. And one of the things so there will be what I think will be like a series of talks at the library. I don't know when they will be. I don't think they're going to be March, unfortunately. But there will be a series of talks led by someone from Hawk in Salem. It's a group that stands for Healing Abuse, Working for Change. And they have an education coordinator named Amanda Lane. And I think Amanda has done a few things at Danvers High School that basically talk about healthy relationships. It's age appropriate. And these things will be like for families. I'm not exactly sure what they will look like, how many there will be. But they will be touching on healthy relationships and I guess in the end offering services from Hawk if you need them, how to get in touch with them, stuff like that. So that's one thing that will hopefully be happening. I'll keep you updated. It should be happening soon. The other thing is I recently attended a men's group at the Maple Street Congregational Church. Charlie was there. Charlie was there. I joined this group thinking that men don't make friends easily, right? When you get to a certain, people don't make friends easily when you get to a certain age, right? After like college or whatever, you're kind of stuck. And men particularly don't make friends. So I just was like, what the heck? Maybe I'll make some friends. So I finally signed up for it. I went. And it was interesting. The topic was interesting. But I have planted a seed in the coordinator's mind. Unfortunately, Pastor Douglas is not here. But I think I planted a seed in the coordinator's mind about men talking, because the group is very middle-aged at the minimum, right? So there are Gen Xers like myself, boomers, baby boomers. That's you guys. And I don't think. And so then the second layer of this is that I think there's been a lot of generational education that has gone missing in the United States. And I think it has to do with our very independent, fiercely independent ethos in this country of, we're going to do it by ourselves, and the nuclear family is the thing, and we're going to steadfastly protect that and push that forward, and the greater village or whatever is sort of gone by the wayside, and all of that generational education that can happen in those situations. I don't know what I imagine is that a bunch of older guys would call out these young guys who are saying stupid things, and tell them, don't be idiots. Treat women like you want to be treated. It's not hard, but it seems to be for whatever reason. There's a documentary on Netflix that just came out about the manosphere. I don't know if you guys know what the manosphere is, but it's basically a bunch of toxic masculinity influencers who are, in a lot of cases, idolized by young men, and they're idiots. They're morons. And to be quite honest, I think many of them like men, to be quite honest. The way they talk about other men and how they, like the way the men look and not so much women, it really is kind of very homoerotic, but that has nothing to do with it. We'll see what happens with this men's group at the church. I think I'm stirring up some group about that. So we'll see what happens there. The Women's History Month, the series at the library, I don't think are going to happen this month, but they will happen, and we'll keep you informed. But that was a long rant about me being against, or trying to stem some of the violence against women, at least in this community, if possible.
Well, thank you for your hypervigilance in it and staying on top of it. And I do think the library is a great partner for us, so thank you for that. Okay, so moving along to our 2026-27 program year, we're going to start having some conversations about, the committee members and all of that stuff. So I just wanted to plant the seed today that those conversations will start. I also wanted to mention that we want to start having some conversations about maybe as we look into the fall and the 2026-2027 year, thinking about how we can structure our time and thinking about if we can move towards supporting and thinking about some other human rights issues. And I'm looking for the committee members to share with me anything else that you might want to take up in terms of other human rights issues that you want us to be involved in. Just to give an example, I'm very passionate about equality surrounding health equity, and as a person who actually has been underinsured, and understanding that more of that is happening right now and people are struggling in that regard, I would wonder if there's a way that we can support people in the community that are experiencing that. And I hear all the time about people that have outrageous health bills and the stress that it puts on them.
Yep.
I've had coworkers crying. Why are you crying? Oh, I have this crazy health bill. I have no idea how I would pay it. They keep calling me. And this is like a real, I feel like everyday regular middle class citizens are struggling with this. It's almost like a silent headache that nobody really talks about. And if there's any way that we can share resources or help people to get over that, to support that burden, I would think that we could do that. With that, we also have to think about our programming for next year, what that looks like, and how we want to, what things we want to continue. Every year we kind of talk about what things do we want to continue, what things do we want to put on pause, and kind of think about what we want to do there. So keep it in the back of your mind. Think about what things you might want to support that we don't do already. And I think that is an ever-evolving topic. Did you have something to say? No? Okay. Anything, Paul?
Yeah, I think that's what I've seen in the last 2 years, basically since we've lost Jasmine, is that we're not having these program, I don't know what you would call them. We had discussions, we had mixture with the library. They were very good. Sometimes we didn't get great attendance, but it opened up your eyes. And of course, it was all one time, and we never really got a chance to repeat it. And I think what you're bringing up is excellent, because I also think we should partner with those in town hall. Use them as a resource. They have a select board, they have human resources, they have et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And if we can get some of these folks through the town manager and get support from them and the library and the schools, it doesn't have to always fall on us, but we can collaborate, I guess is the word, and start, not a lot, but 2 or 3 programs that maybe we think enough of or are somewhat successful enough that we could repeat them again and maybe build on what we had 1 year. It's like the King. It's gotten big. It's big. It's almost like a full-time job. But it really, that's the kind of thing, I think, you're trying to change minds, maybe develop attitudes and this type of thing. And it can't just be that one shot, okay, we'll have, and then we have donuts and coffee and we all leave. Forget it. That's not going to work, right? But I think it's a great idea, but I think we have to have other institutions within the town with us, the dominant institutions, which is this building and any of the schools and the library, just to start out with. So take it for what it is. I've been thinking about that myself, but didn't know how to present it. You did a great job, but that's it. So we go.
I mean, I will say that we know a few retired doc physicians, and just thinking about there was a fair that would happen where I lived before, where people would get free blood pressure checks, and they would talk about how to replace that Dunkin' Donuts coffee with something healthier, just small things, because. And some people would find out at this table that they have high blood pressure because you check it 4 or 5 times and they're like, your pressure's through the roof. So just basic things like that can help people along the way. There are a lot of people that don't do an annual physical. So sometimes if you provide, this local resource that happens to be on their way, you can save a life. I mean, there's small things, but something to think about if we do free up our time a little bit, and if we have the community partners, as we were talking about, that's another way that we can impact.
Senior citizens.
Senior
Again,
citizens,
sure.
of course, yeah. And the senior center is very conveniently located, and they have a lot of space, so doing something there would be great as well.
Madam Chair, see if I
Yes.
may, I think that would be amazing. And if the committee pursue things like that, there are definitely partnerships that we can have. Obviously, we have MGH right here in town. Salem Hospital is down the street. Dr. Charlie is a former trustee. I'm a current trustee. They have a community van that goes to Salem, for example, and they can take your blood pressure there. They can do colon cancer screening. They can give you a blood sugar monitor for free. They can do immunization. So if the committee were to arrange something or identify people that are having a hard time, and they can also help you be set up with a PCP if you don't have one. So those are things that can be arranged, and we could do it, I don't know, here at Town Hall, Senior Center, at the high school, and invite them to come over and provide those services. So I think there are definitely opportunities there. It's just a matter of coordinating and really advertising and getting people there.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, that's great. If they have the van that goes around, that'd be great.
Yeah.
So I'm going into new business. Luis, did you have something to say?
Well, Lieutenant Sullivan actually mentioned that yes, PRISM, the high school student-led group, they're having their fifth annual Trans Visibility Day. And I looked into it, and it's, I mean, like Jorge said, safety is important, you know? And I was thinking events like MLK, Move Like King, you know, Black Excellence, you know, events like PRISM basically here, they provide a safe space, safe environment, you know? Like for example, it's a family event, family-friendly event. They welcomes all members, so LGBTQ plus community, and all the allies. You know, it's led by students, you know? And they look to celebrate experiences and difficulties, you know, within the transgender community. And safety, talking about human rights, safety is a human right, you know? Everybody's entitled to safety. Even if you're a Yankees fan, you're entitled to safety. You know? Like, everybody needs that. And it's sad that in days like today, and I guess times now, it seems like safety, it's hard to come by for a lot of folks. So we gotta make sure that we represent, that we stand up for those who can't stand for themselves. So everybody who's available, March 31st, 6 p.m. at the Universalist, North Shore Unitarian Universalist Church. Once again, come support, provide safety, and also be there for those who, you know, are needed. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And on the subject of North Shore Universalist, I want to mention that NSUU, not only did they have a Frederick Douglass event, which I didn't attend, Dr. Charlie was able to attend, and I heard that it was amazing and that there was not an open seat in the room, which was awesome. I wish I could have been there. They took a collection up for the Human Rights and Inclusion Committee in order to continue to support our ongoing programs. They advised me that $200 was collected for our ongoing programs, so we will be receiving that check from them, which we thank them for supporting what we do here. I don't know if you want to speak to the event at all, Dr. Charlie, or if you feel like
No,
I did an okay job.
just a few words. I thought that the primary program, there was lots that was going on, but the primary program was that they had maybe 11 or 12 speakers, all reading excerpts from Frederick Douglass's autobiography, or other publications and writings that he did, or speeches that he gave, and it was just absolutely spellbinding to hear his voice. I mean, it was as if he was in the room, and it was a very, very moving experience, and I was extremely impressed by the entire event, and just the camaraderie and feeling of unitedness that was there. And it was, you know, people from all walks of life that were there. I thought it was just great.
That's awesome. Thank you. Does anyone else have any other new business? Oh, go ahead, Paul.
Just the recognition that HRIC/Friends received a donation from Sally Kearns, substantial donation, for events over a 2-year period, and want to thank her publicly for her support.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep, outstanding. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, we thank Sally as a former chair and member of the HRIC. She's always visible and supports where she can. And sometimes she'll text me, oh, I can't be at this because I have another event. I'm like, Sally, you're everywhere. If you miss one, I think you'll be okay. But she has our calendar, and we're always at the forefront of her mind. So we really thank her for her continued support. Anyone else with new business?
Going off a little bit of our last agenda point, and going off a little bit what Jorge said, and a little bit what you said. In the summer of 2023, Jasmine did the Let's Talk About Race series. And I think, we can vote on this next meeting, but I think we should really think about having that be a monthly series and have it be a monthly topic, and we meet weekly. We could start out with the Women's History thing starting next month, and we have people from Hawk. I don't know, I think we should just think about how we can expand that Let's Talk series to, yeah.
Was there another organization that wasn't there an organization that she used? Who was it?
Conversations, I think.
Oh my goodness, I have to look it up. There was.
Is it Living Room?
Lever? Levin, yeah, because there was a partner in that, and I'm curious to know if they're still. Lauren somebody? I do remember about, I have to go back because I attended a couple of them and I might have some emails, but
Yes.
if there is someone, another partner on that, that's something to definitely to look into. Thank you for bringing it up.
I think it was Lauren from the Hit Mir.
Heath
Yes.
Mayer. Yes, thank you. Yeah, Heath Mayer. Thank you. Yeah, they were very, very insightful. All right, if there, yeah,
If I
absolutely.
could say something, one thing about the Trans Day of Visibility in March. I attended last year, and it was great. I mean, those kids are just so brave, and and I am rushing back from out of town to be there Tuesday. I'm hoping to be there, but I made sure that my wife and I are going to leave where we're going to be rushing back from Buffalo
Wow.
to town. So I hope to be there. It was amazing, and I am happy to lend my support.
That speaks volumes. Thank you. Anyone else? All right, so, I would like, someone to move for us to close the meeting,
Move we
adjourn the meeting.
adjourn the meeting, yes.
Okay, so any opposed? All right, our meeting is closed. Thank you, everyone.